What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Hope you had a good week. Been a bit overdue, and I have once again been blessed with a bunch of VCLT from some very kind people. There's one thing about doing this YouTube thing is if you're going to go out and do it, definitely go and network with people, get to know people. From doing this, I've made some friends that I consider very close friends, and I've gotten to meet a lot of great people doing this. And part of the fun of interacting with other YouTubers and other people is, sharing stuff, stuff that you either have extras of, you just pass it on down the line. They call it VCLT. I enjoy sharing just as much as receiving, and lately I've been receiving some cool stuff. And again, the kindness of others is still alive and well. All these people that sent this stuff, thanks so much. And I just wanted to go through it. It's kind of like a collection update, but stuff that other people chose for you. I mean, it's I guess kind of like a blind buy, but it's definitely cool. And first off, I'm just going to get started because there's quite a good stack of stuff, and I want to try to give you some information. I have listened to all of this, I believe. Some not as much as I'd like to, so I don't really know how super in-depth some of these descriptions are going to be in memory and all that stuff. But first up, I planned on doing a review on this, so that's why it's taken me a while to announce it. But this Ben sent me this. It's the Bratislava band named Malokarpatan with Krupinske, Ohne. Came out in 2020. I might still review this. It's quite a good album. It takes like a Viking era Bathory aesthetic and injects it with kind of a first wave black metal feel and sometimes a more modern black metal feel. This album kind of comes at you from all areas, but it's very well thought out, very well composed, and I find myself listening to it quite a bit. Ben figured I would like it, and sent it to me, and he was right. It's good. Every time I put this on, I usually end up listening to it 2 or 3 times. Again, I've just been short on time, haven't been able to do reviews like I like to. Not that many people watch them anyway, but it's still fun to do that. Let's talk about it. Shall I do more reviews? Do you guys care if I even do that, or collection type or catalog type retrospective review, talking about stuff like that better? I mean, just let me know what you think. So thanks, Ben. Thanks for the Malokarpatan with Krupinske, Ohne. Definitely check this out if you have not heard it. I've seen a lot of people show it, the vinyl of it, actually. It's an Ohne Offensive release. Very good, very mystical sounding. Good first wave mixed with Viking era Bathory and some modern black metal stuff going on here. Definitely worth investigating. Next up, I've considered doing a review on this too, but I'm kind of glad I waited because my initial reaction to this album would have been a lot less favorable than it has become now. But this is Mortal by Necrot, their latest album. This is a highly acclaimed release by a highly regarded band, and first couple listens, I can't say that I disliked it because I did not. I liked it. I think it's good. I just think it sounds initially the way the album is structured, the way they a lot of the songs sound the same. I can't remember which song it is. Maybe the Stench of Decay or Asleep Forever. One of those 2 songs sound almost like a rewritten version of Before the Creation of Time from Unleashed. In fact, this album has very much an early Unleashed sort of aesthetic to it. Old school death metal. I would have liked to hear more shifting of dynamics, but this isn't really that kind of an album. The more I've listened to it, I've really actually started to like it. The songs kind of took a little bit better shape in my brain. They're catchy. Not a lot of dynamics on this. It's all kind of straightforward, mid-paced, centered. There's some speed here and there, but it's pretty reserved in that department. Mortal's good, and these guys deserve. They've toured, with Blood Incantation and Morbid Angel. They've been out there. They've done the work. They absolutely deserve what all the press and acclaim they're getting. But it took me, a few times to warm up to it. I thought initially it was a little bit overrated, and maybe it is a little overrated, but I think I like their last album a bit better. But just having said that, it's comparing apples and oranges, whatever. It's a good album. Definitely check it out if you're into early death metal. Oh, and Devin sent me the CD. Thank you again, Devin. You did not have to do it, brother. I've enjoyed it. Thanks again for sending it, and I'm kind of glad I stuck with it because I'm liking it more the more I spin it. Next up, I got a package from Rick from The Dreadful Minutes, which is a channel you should check out, The Dreadful Minutes. He's new to the YouTube scene, and he's trying to get things rolling, and more power to him. He's been streaming. I've been on a couple streams with those guys. He saw me one day showing off a Limbonic Art 4 CD box set, that big A4 digibook thing, folds open a bunch of times. Apparently he had it and has experienced some problems with it not holding up and deteriorating. So he built me essentially a Limbonic Art digibook condom to slide it into, which was very kind of him. But with it, he sent me a CD he thought I would like to check out, and this is Korrosiah. This is the band's final album. This came out in 2016. They have split up. Where are they from? I'm trying to think. They're from France. They're a French band. Actually, they sound South American, which is, I'm not saying they sound like Sarcophago or anything like that. They just sound like maybe Brazilian thrash or something, but I think he described it in his letter as kind of like a modern take on the Old Testament aesthetic, which there are moments where they are definitely glomming on to a Testament style of writing. But then I also hear Anthrax in there, and then I hear, just a modern style of thrash, clean, rough vocals. I'd almost wish they would have stuck with the Testament and Anthrax worship, but I've listened to this a couple times, and it's good. It's a good thrash CD with modern leanings, and I've enjoyed it. And the band split up apparently in 2019, so this is the 2016 album is their final, and kind of sad they couldn't get it together for at least one more before they called it a day. It was 3 years after this came out when they broke up, but thanks, Rick, for sending this. Appreciate it. I've never heard of this band. It was interesting to check it out, and been riding around in the vehicle with me as I go from appointment to appointment. So definitely, if you're into modern thrash, check out Korrosiah. Next up, I'm always getting stuff from my buddy S.Craig Zahler. We've been friends for a long time, and we've always shared music, shared ideas, shared great conversations. I love the man. He's a great guy. He's a great friend. And, him and Jeff Wagner are two very close friends that I earned out of my tenure at Metal Maniacs. But, yeah, he sometimes gets thinking I need to hear some stuff and will just randomly buy me things, and they just kind of show up, which is always fun, and I greatly appreciate it, Craig. I'm sure you're watching. Thank you so much, as always. First up, we're going to get these out of the way. I've got two by the band Riot. I've got Born in America, and I've got Immortal Soul. Now, Craig, these two make 3 Riot CDs that Craig has sent me. And I've liked all 3 of them enough where I just recently picked up Thundersteel, which is not here yet. I actually bought it from King Folly. But my favorite of these of the 3 that I own would be Fire Down Under. That is just a great, great, great metal record. And that has the singer Guy Speranza. Yes, I am reading off of notes because the notes are the way to go when you get old, like me. Guy Speranza is definitely by far the better of the two singers. This album has Rhett Forrester, who has passed away, on vocals, which this is a good album. There are moments of this that kind of, there's, good hard rocking type metal and songs that kind of dip into more of a hard rock feel and style. But I enjoyed it. It's really good. Really solid guitar work. Rhett Forster's a good singer. I just prefer Guy's vocal performance on Fire Down Under. I like those songs a bit better. But this, I need to spin a bit more to really absorb it. And then he just sent Immortal Soul, which this came out in 93. This one came out in 2011. So this is a very long-running band. This has another singer. I've got 3 different Riot albums, all 3 of which have different vocalists. This has Tony Moore on vocals, and another notable musician in this would be Bobby Jarzambek, who is a drum prodigy. Essentially, the guy is a technical mastermind. If you are into Arch Matheos, he's played drums on that stuff. He's been in a tons of bands, and he lends his talents here. And this Tony Moore is more of a bluesy croon. If I've only listened to this once, I did really like it. More of a bluesy croon than both Rhett and Guy. Kind of gives it that Foreigner type of feel here and there, but the music itself ranges from really well written hard rock to more of a heavy metal. I mean, it's heavy metal, but it seems like they're trying to really dig in and get heavier with this record. This came out in 2011, and it's really good. And this band has suffered 2 passings. Rhett Forrester passed away, and I think Mark Reel, guitar player, also has passed. But man, it's a long-running band. You've got this much history from the 80s all the way till now, and this band, what's left of Riot are still playing. I think they're called Riot 5 now or something like that. I mean, you have such a long lifespan in music or art. Life happens, people pass, and it sucks, but hats off to these guys for carrying on. But I've got Thundersteel coming, and I'm looking forward to hearing how that fits in with the 3 that I have. But this was really good, much heavier than the other 2 albums, a little bit more modern, obviously. Decades have passed since the early stuff, and they've gotten a lot heavier for sure. Another couple of Zahler things. He thought that I needed to hear King Kobra, Ready to Strike. Now, this is one of those bands that I've seen in album bins forever, and, looking at the band photo, there's not a whole lot there that makes me want to rush out and buy this. I mean, obviously, it's got Carmine Appice on drums, who, long time, very notable drummer. And another notable musician in this band would be Johnny Rod, who's a bass player. He was also in the band Wasp, Headless Children, Crimson Idol. I don't know how far back he goes. He might have come in Electric Circus. I don't remember. I do not own that album. But this was kind of a surprise because, looking at this, I always thought it was straight up cock rock, hair metal. I mean, how can you not think that by looking at the platinum blonde on display? Not Carmine, though. He's like, fuck you, my trademark brunette hair is not getting platinumized. But this album is surprisingly really good. And there's the more aggressive moments of this album really remind me of what today would be called the new wave of traditional heavy metal, which is a ton of bands coming out doing this, especially in Canada, kind of basically styled after the new wave of British heavy metal. That's kind of where the more aggressive songs on this go. But in fact, the first half of this, I thought it was really well paced because it was focusing on that traditional heavy metal sound, but then they would start to dip into more hard rock tendencies, as the album progresses, it gets a bit more ballady here and there. I mean, not full on, tearjerker, baby left me type stuff, but it kind of wants to lean that direction, but they keep it tasteful enough where it doesn't get like sickening. Again, this is an album I've only listened to twice, so I haven't really fully absorbed it. The rockers really rock well. The rest of it, I'm still trying to warm up to, which I can carry over into this one too. This is MSG, the Michael Schenker group, with Built to Destroy. Another one Craig sent me. I think Michael Schenker is most well known for being early on guitar player for Scorpions. His solo work has earned him a lot of acclaim as well, and this is the first. He's sent me some other Schenker stuff in the past. I never really gave him a chance. I just always passed them on to other people that I thought would like them, but he felt I needed to hear this, so I listened to it twice, and I can't say that I have fully warmed up to it yet. I don't know what to think. It's not bad. It's really well written hard rock on the Chrysalis label, which is also known for Armored Saint and Pat Benatar. Built to Destroy, great guitar work. Obviously, he's one of those tried and true guitar shredders. This is a reissue, and it's got some bonus tracks on it for as well. I think it says US mix. There's a UK mix and a US mix, so basically the same songs, just with the knobs twiddled in different directions. So this is another one I need to really sit with again. It's a hard rock album, essentially. A well-crafted hard rock album. I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad, because it is not. I really got to be in the mood for this stuff, which Craig understands that. And next time he's here, I'm sure we will jam this out, and he will air guitar through it. I got 3 more from Zahler, and these are rippers. We'll go with this one first. I have notes, like I said. This is the German band Worship, last CD before Doomsday. I have had a CDR of this album. I've heard this album before. It was nice to actually get a copy of it. Thank you, Craig. Funeral Doom, probably one of the first standout Funeral Doom bands. This is a German band. The main guy, what the hell is his name? Fucked Up Mad Max was the drummer, I think, and vocalist. Killed himself shortly after recording this, I believe. But this is basically Funeral Doom in the aesthetic of what you would expect, where the genre kind of went really seriously heavy and slow. I think it leans more on the black side, but there is definitely a heavy-handed death and doom tone to this. But the stripped down primitive nature of it gives it that cult. I mean, you can kind of get that impression from the cover artwork alone, but a very cult presentation, and it spills over into the lo-fi nature of the music. It's very lo-fi recorded, but everything still hits. Oh my god, man. But yes, very good Funeral Doom, and if you are a fan of the genre and you have not heard this is an early on influencer to what Funeral Doom became. Definitely check out last CD before Doomsday. Next up, man, these 2 albums rip. Razor. I have always had a handful of Razor albums. I have Executioner's Song, which I didn't think I did have, but I do have it. I've got Evil Invaders. I've got Malicious Intent. All 3 are great records. Craig was surprised I hadn't heard this one, and he has been listening to this and liked it, so he sent along Shotgun Justice. This is a reissue. It's got bonus tracks, some live stuff on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bonus tracks. But the album is a ripper, an absolute ripper. This doesn't have Sheepdog on vocals. This has Bob Reed. I think a lot of people look at Razor and want to hear Sheepdog with his insane screaming. But this Bob Reed, he presents he completely emulates the pissed off nature of this album. This album is pissed off, man. It's hard hitting, fast thrash, razor sharp guitar work, unrelenting beat. They don't really stray much from the full on thrash. This is kind of like that, like the audio equivalent to Falling Down, like snapping at work and shooting the place up type of thing. It's kind of the impression I get from this, but this is a great fucking Razor record. I've listened to the shit out of this, and kind of makes me want to dip into the other Razor albums that I have missed. I think Sheepdog has gotten back in the band, but this Bob Reed guy, he definitely does a great job. And if you have not heard Shotgun Justice, this is a fantastic Canadian thrash album. You definitely need to check it out. This reissue came out on Relapse. But yes, fucking awesome album. And the next one is, we were talking one day, I told him I had the first album by this band and the last album by this band, and he couldn't believe I didn't have this one. So he sent me Epidemic of Violence by Demolition Hammer. And in a lot of ways, these two could be companion albums, to be honest. I mean, yeah, this Demolition Hammer in a lot of aspects is damn close to like proto death metal, but it's thrash metal. It's super hard hitting thrash metal. A lot of changes, a lot of super aggressive vocals. Like I said, it's proto death, but it maintains a thrash element by never really dipping into blast beats, not being down tuned, but just the savage approach is just absolutely crushing. The first album, Epidemic of Violence, that is this one. The first one, God, Tortured Existence. I've had that since it came out, and I always liked that album, but for some reason it never fully, I mean, I always liked it, but I always ended up leaning into more death metal stuff, and I spent a lot of time with the album. I got to know the album. I liked it, and I recently-ish, like within the last 2 years, picked up Time Bomb on tape from eBay, cheap. Didn't like it. Wasn't a very good album, but this album, holy fuck. Really too bad they are not continuing on. I know they're back together. They've been playing shows, but this is a great band. Definitely check them out if you haven't heard it. Epidemic of Violence is great. There are 4 live songs tacked on, but it's a 9-track album. The actual album is 9 tracks, and it's great. Absolutely great thrash metal. These guys are from the South somewhere, I believe. I don't know. But that was all the Zahler stuff. Thanks, Craig. Again, appreciate it. I need to repay you somehow. Next up, there is a gentleman that watches my show, watches my channel, watches our streams, Alexander Fintonis. And Alex, thank you for sending this box. He sent me a big box of stuff. He said he had some duplicates and some things he didn't necessarily want, so he sent them my way, which completely appreciate it. And, you know, it's fun, the fact that these are a lot of, you know, some of these I did have, which I will, of course, pass on to a friend or another YouTuber. They'll get sent down the line. But a lot of this other stuff I had not had, or I would not have ever bought, maybe. So it was very cool to be able to get all this stuff, sit down, check it out. And some of it's really good, and some of it is good, but I might not keep. Don't know yet. But a lot of the stuff I've listened to once, some of it twice, some of it more. But let's start with the first one on the stack here. This is from the Belgian band Aborted. This is Retrogore. Came out in 2016. It's not their most recent. It might be their second most recent album. This came out on Century Media. You know, I've heard... Oh, wow, the CD isn't in here. Where could that be? Oh, it's out there. I've heard these guys before. They're basically super modern, super technical, almost inhuman in execution and ability, death metal with grinding capabilities, grinding tendencies. But in a lot of ways, I think these guys could sit in a very similar class of death / grind as Cattle Decapitation. The vocalist never really gets into that weird clean singing, but his aggressive vocals are very harsh. Not necessarily brutal and low, but just really harsh and violent. The music is super complex, blasting stuff. A drummer that's inhuman sounding. I mean, let's be honest. The guy spent more of his life practicing than actually living, probably, but more power to him, and I can see why this band is popular, because they're really fucking good. Is it something I listen to a lot? No, but when I put it on, I'm definitely going to listen to the whole thing. It's enjoyable. So yeah, it was cool to actually be able to sit down and listen to a full album by these guys, because I've always heard a track here and there and went, oh, good stuff. But Alex made sure I gave it a good solid chance. Next up, pretty surprised about this one. Queensryche, this is their most recent album, The Verdict. I like this album. This was really quite good. This has this is their 2019 album. Vocalist Todd Latorre. He's been their singer since 2012 and replaced, of course, Jeff Tate. Basically, with this guy singing, this is his third Queensryche album he sang on, by the way. With this guy singing, what do you get? You get a guy that can emulate Jeff Tate perfectly, but doesn't sit in that style forever. I mean, he goes there. You can tell they chose wisely. They chose a guy that could move the band forward while keeping fans of Queensryche that trademark vocal performance and style that Jeff Tate pioneered intact. And this guy, this Todd guy, can definitely pull off the shit live, the old classic stuff live, no problem. But this is a good album, well written, heavy metal, and it never really gets weepy or quiet or commercial. It's just a good heavy metal record. Great singing, great feeling, great compositions. I was very impressed with this record. Other Queensryche records pop up. The other two that he sang on, I will not be afraid to check them out. I mean, I'm not the world's biggest Queensryche fan, but I do enjoy this stuff, and these guys are good. This is a good album. Next up, Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race. I actually have this on vinyl, but it's nice to have the CD to listen to in the car. You know this one. Thanks for sending it, Alex. It's cool to have it on CD and LP. And yeah, do I think it's a bit overrated? Yes, I do. But that doesn't mean it's not good. That doesn't mean that the band doesn't deserve all that they're getting right now. It's really good. Morbid Angel meets proggy death worship with psychedelics and a Moog synthesizer. Pretty much sums this album up nicely. Next up is Krisiun with AssassinNation. Heavy emphasis on the capital N for nation. This is a 2006 Krisiun album, and it's good. It's solid. Sounds like Krisiun. This band is Brazilian. Three brothers. I don't know if the drummer is a brother, but there's two brothers in this band for sure. There might be three. They're all related, I believe. But power trio. I've seen these guys live 3 or 4 times, and they sound like a fucking jet engine, like your head is stuck in a jet engine. That was early on when I saw them, and their early stuff is a little bit more chaotic and crazy. The drum fills are nuts. The time they slip in and out of time on that early stuff. These newer albums, they have definitely learned and honed in their craft a bit more. This is a solid death metal record, cool harmonies here and there. A very plotting and attacking, blasting pace. It's a good album. Yeah, I've listened to it a couple times. I can't say Krisiun is a band I grab for often, but it's nice to have it in the arsenal for sure. Next up, this is kind of cool to have. I have not listened to one of these albums yet, but this is a 2-for-1 of Exhorder. I bought Slaughter in the Vatican when it came out on cassette. I still own it on Road Racer Records. In fact, this is a Roadrunner. This is a Roadrunner release. And man, I've never really connected with Exhorder. What is it about them? Getting this album, getting the CD set This has Slaughter in the Vatican and their second album, The Law. What is it about this band that wouldn't click? I never could understand. So many people loved this band, and I listened to it and I liked it, but I just never really finally realized what it was. I was listening to this the other day. I was listening to Slaughter in the Vatican the other day in town, driving around. The music kicks ass. Great, hard-hitting thrash metal that could fit in with Demolition Hammer and the like. I mean, complex, hard-hitting. What bothers me is the vocals. Why do the vocals bother me? Well, they're aggressive, they're well screamed, they fit the music perfectly, but they have that southern sound. They sound, in a lot of ways, like Phil Anselmo. Sounds like Pantera. Vocally sounds like Pantera. And that honestly bugs me. It bugs the crap out of me, and I've been able to get past it, and now that I realize what it is about the album that has always bugged me, it just jumped right out at me this time. Last time I listened to it, I'm like, oh, it's the vocals. The guy sounds like Phil Anselmo. If you're into Pantera and that shit, I've got a couple Pantera tapes. I tried back in the day, and because of all the pushing that MTV was doing, I like a couple of the songs, but man, I just could never fully get into that vocal style, that pissed off knuckle dragger style, and that's kind of what Exhorder does. I have not yet listened to The Law. I wanted to listen to that before I talked about this record, but Slaughter in the Vatican's my jumping off point. I've been with this album for a long time, and a lot of people say The Law sucks, so it's kind of, I'm still going to sit and listen to it. I just haven't got there yet. Next up, the Atheist Piece of Time. I haven't listened to this album in a long time. He sent it with that comes with I've got a reissue version of this that comes with the CD and all the demo tracks, but this one comes with that and a DVD, which I have not watched yet. A bunch of live stuff. I've got some bootleg Atheist stuff back in the day. What was the bass player's name? Roger Patterson? I don't know. He passed away. Patterson? I don't remember. But, man, it's been a long time since I've listened to this album, and it's fucking great. It's really great. Piece of Time, if you have not heard this and you're into, like, proggy death, the band Death, that's kind of where Atheist was at. They have just more of a progressive... This album was a very progressive death metal album. Well written, technical, but the riffs were really fucking catchy, and it really pushed this stuff along and it's technical, but it's stuck in your head. As they went on with the two albums after this, I can't remember the names off the top of my head. Elements is one of them. The second one has a kid praying on the cover. Something Time. Anyway, they got a lot more proggy as they picked up that Tony Choi on bass to replace Roger. And I still liked it, but they kind of started a little weird, kind of like Cynic and whatnot. But this is good shit. Great Florida death metal. Definitely check this out if you have not heard Atheist Piece of Time. I mentioned them. I got to show it now. Cynic, Traced in Air. I actually have a digipack version of this, so I'm going to pass this along to somebody. This could sit right alongside this. They could have been strange bedfellows indeed. But Cynic, this is their comeback album, Traced in Air. They broke up for a while, got back together, and put out this record, rekindled their career, and they kind of picked up where Focus left off. It's a good predecessor to that. Super technical, proggy metal. I don't even want to call it death metal. The vocals are largely sang through a vocoder or through some sort of effect to make them sound robotic. But it's good. It's a good album. As they've gotten a lot less metal and a lot more squirrely and strange, but this is a good album. Next up, he sent this Savatage record, which is Gutter Ballet. And I'm starting to hear a lot more Savatage albums in the good column than the bad column. Zahler sent me Sirens, Dungeons Are Calling, and the one with the fist on it. and I have Hall of the Mountain King. All that shit's really, really great traditional heavy metal. And then I also have Fight for Rock, which is a complete turd of a commercial metal / hard rock album. And this sits somewhere in between the whole thing, but it never really got super cringy. And the songs are good. This contains a bonus track. This is on Atlantic. It's amazing how big this band got. I mean, they're on a major label here. I don't know if it's just because the result of bands like Anthrax and Overkill and all those bands, Testament, all signing to Atlantic. Not that this is thrash. This is very much a traditional heavy metal with hard rock leanings. This is a very well composed, a very adventurous album. Yeah, sophisticated metal. We'll call it that. And I enjoyed it. I don't know if this was before Chris Caffrey. No, is that his name? No. Chris Olivia passed. I guess I could check. I should have looked at and put that on my fucking notes, but I failed. I failed you people. This has got Chris Caffrey in it, so this is after John's brother passed. No, it isn't. Nope, Chris Olivia is still alive on this album. Maybe that's why it's good. I don't know. But this is a good record, and I was very psyched to find that in the box and check it out. Thanks again, Alex. Next up, Ordo Ed KO from Mayhem. This is basically Rune Eriksson and Attila having free reign of what the hell's going on. And this album is nuts. And I actually have a different version of this, so this will be passed along. But thank you, Alex. The production on this is really weird, very organic. I don't think they allowed Hellhammer to use any triggers. And Necro Butcher was not allowed to play on this album. I think Runa said, no, I will handle this. I think which really pissed off Necro Butcher, which understandably so, but Blasphemer had a vision, and this is what turned out of it. It's a very organic and weird sounding album. There's a theme of water throughout this, very strange. Attila was given free reign on this, and he did what Attila does and went fucking crazy. There's parts on songs where it sounds like he's like having a breakdown, crying, screaming, weeping. It goes into these insane fucking screams, and this took a lot to digest when it came out, but man, it really has a good payoff. I think this is a great album, and to be honest, I like it better than Chimera. I like it better. I can't say I like it better than Grand Declaration of War. I used to hate that record, but my buddy Zahler and Wagner turned me around on that. Now, if I go to listen to Mayhem, I usually grab for that one first, which is kind of weird. But this gets played once or twice a year. I do enjoy this album. I really enjoy the chaotic nature of it and the free spirit. It seemed like it was unhinged and free to do what they wanted, which is fucking awesome. Good album. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Utratum, I have reviewed this, and I will be passing this along. French death metal sounds exactly like Left Hand Path era Entombed. Awesome. Next up, we'll do this one first. Crossfire. This is their only release. This came out in 2017. It's an EP. Burning Torches. These guys are from Catalonia, which is by Spain, near Spain, in Spain. I don't fucking know. I am not a geographical mastermind or a mastermind at all. That's why I'm here. This is a very decent album. It times sounded very Australian. It's got that kind of pissed off, death black, thrashy kind of spirit to it. Bullet Belts and Leather. And it's well written. 2, 4, 6 tracks. Kind of goes along at a good clip. Is it super original? No, but it's a good start for a band that no one seems to know what the status of this band is. It wasn't at least on the Oracle. What they said unknown what their status was. But this was good. Is it something I'm going to listen to a lot? Probably not, but it was cool to check them out. Next up, This is the first album not to feature Udo from the band Accept. This was their transitional album with the new vocalist, David Reese, which I think they got a guy from the U.S. And I think Alex said he didn't like this album at first, but he can learn to appreciate it over the years. And to be honest, this does not sound like Accept. Straight up. I only have a handful of... I've got 2 Accept albums, but I've heard others. And they have a distinct sound. And it isn't necessarily because Udo wasn't singing on this. It's just the music itself. They went for more of an American metal / rock feel. And with the singer, though he does not sound exactly like Blackie Lawless, he is singing in a way that is very Blackie Lawless-esque. And there's moments of this album that sound like a Wasp record, not a full-on first 2 album Wasp album. It doesn't have that sort of aggression and vitality to it. It's middle era Wasp. Not necessarily as complex and theatrical as Wasp became. But there are times that some of the progressions, the vocal stylings, the way he's offering the vocals sounds a lot like Blackie. I didn't hate it. I like this record. I'm not probably going to listen to it a ton, but I put it in and I've spun it twice. And it was good work music in the background. Good hard-hitting, well-written hard rock / metal with a familiar ring to it, dipping into that American metal spirit. But yeah, surprising how decent it was. And last 2, but not the least 2, he sent a couple records. He sent Black Sabbath Born Again, which I already have, but this is a fucking classic. Ian Gillan from Deep Purple on vocals. A lot of you would know this songs on this. Like, I think the videos for this album were Trashed and Zero the Hero, which Zero the Hero, Cannibal Corpse did a cover of it with Chris Barnes. So you would know that song. But this is a weird Sabbath album, and it's a one-off Sabbath album with Ian Gillan. He also did Jesus Christ Superstar. He sang on that too. But this is a good record. It's weird. It's strange. It's produced really strange. But good stuff. Let's go to my buddy TJ. And this is great. I own a radio promo of this that's trashed. But he sent Hobbs Angel of Death. This is a High Roller Records pressing. This is thrash metal from Australia. Wait. Tasmania? I think they're from New Zealand. Oh, fuck. You know what? I'm going to check because I don't want to sound like a complete dumbass. This is exciting television here. They are from Melbourne, Australia. I was wrong. Melbourne, Australia. And Hobbs passed away this year. I think it was last year, actually. But, this album fucking rules. And you can hear where bands like Destroyer 666 got their sound, because this early Hobbs stuff has the feel in the riffs. It's just fucking great. And super savage, chilling out with their cheap, shitty guitars, hanging out with some Joeys. Right on. But man, you can tell Hobbs was the guy that was buying this guy beer. Because this guy wasn't old enough to buy his own beer. But this album fucking destroys. And if you have never heard Hobbs Angel of Death, this is the album to get and to start with. In fact, I have not heard much of the stuff that he's done after this, but this record is kind of an overlooked classic. Like I said, you can hear some where Destroyer 666 got their feel, that anthemic feel, and you take that anthemic feel and mixed it with hard-hitting, unrelenting thrash metal, really good Slayer-esque Tamaraya type screams. This is basically Hobbs' vision of what Slayer would be if they went down under, if you know what I mean. but a lot more aggressive in a lot of ways, a lot better guitar tone in a lot of ways than early Slayer. Great record. Awesome. And I'm happy. I've already spun this a bunch. I'm happy to replace my ratted out WNMC copy. I'm not going to re-sleeve that. That's it. Again, thank you all for your kindness and sending me stuff to talk about. I love doing it. And, you know, a lot of you that sent this stuff, I'll get you back. Don't worry. But I really appreciate everybody watching and commenting on the videos. If you like what you're watching, do that. Ring the bell, subscribe, all that good shit. But thank you again, folks, for sending stuff. It's always nice to get an influx of things when times might be a little tough to be able to still have to talk about. But I got some more stuff coming. I'm not going to say when and where I'm going to be back or what I'm going to be doing, but it'll be soon. I'm going to try to keep this going every week. I know I slip sometimes, but that's life. And thanks for watching. Y'all see you later.